Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is just a sound check and we'll be starting in the next couple of minutes. Thank you.
Prynhawn da i chi gyd, a gobeithio eich bod yn cadw'n dda. A diolch yn fawr iawn i chi am ymuno gyda ni ar gyfer ein webinar prynhawn yma i baratoi i ddarparu'r gymhwyster sylfaen mewn Galwedigaethau Pren. Rydym i gyd yn gweithio adre, felly ymddeiriadau ymlaen llaw am unrhyw sŵn yn y cefndir ac unrhyw oedi yn y sleidiau. Fe fyddwch yn derbyn e-bost cyn diwedd y webinar gyda linc i'n harolwg. Byddem yn ddiolchgar iawn gyda chi'n cymeryd yr amser i lenwi hwn, gan bod eich adborth yn werthfawr iawn i ni. Good afternoon and hope you're all keeping well, and thank you very much for joining us on our webinar this afternoon to learn how to deliver the foundation qualification in wood occupations. As we are all working from home, I apologise in advance for any background noise and any delay in the slides. You will receive an email before the session ends with a link to a survey. We would be very grateful if you could take the time to fill in this survey, as your feedback is very valuable to us. Dyma beth fyddwn ni'n trafod prynhawn yma. Fe fyddwn nhw'n edrych ar y drawsnewidiad a chynnwys y gymhwyster sylfaen, strwythur yr unedau ac yn rhoi amlinelliad o'r asesiadau. Byddwn nhw'n edrych ar yr adnoddau sydd ar gael i chi, yna ymlaen i'r canmau nesaf, ac i gau cyfle i chi ofyn unrhyw gwestiynau i ni. Plis rhowch eich gwestiynau yn y tab cwestiynau sydd ar llaw dde o'ch sgrin. Gobeithio bydd hyn digon o amser ar ddiwedd y webinar i ateb gymaint o gwestiynau ag y gallwn. Fe fydd y cwestiynau a'r atebion yn cael ei roi ar wefan Sgiliau i Gymru. Mae'r sesiwn wedi'i gynllunio am awr a hanner, gyda'r cyflwyniad yn cymeryd tua 40 munud. This is what we will be looking at this afternoon. We will be going over the transformation of these new qualifications. We will look at the foundation qualification content, looking specifically on wood occupations, the structure of the units and outline of the assessments. We will then take a look at the resources that will be available for you, and then on to the next steps, and then you will have an opportunity to ask us any questions. Please type in any questions that you have throughout this webinar in the questions tab on the right-hand side of your screen. The questions and answers will be on the Skills for Wales website. The session is planned for an hour and a half, with the presentation lasting around 40 minutes. Dyma I chi eich cyflwynwyr heddi. Here are your presenters today. Mae David Pye gyda ni. David yw'r cynghorydd technegol gwasanaethau adeiladu i City and Guilds. We have David Pye, who's the lead technical advisor for building services at City and Guilds. Also have Ian Roberts. Ian yw'r cynghorydd technegol adeiladu i City and Guilds. Ian Roberts is our technical advisor for construction at City and Guilds. A fi sef Angharad Lloyd Bainan, fi yw'r rheolwr busnes Cymru ar gyfer City and Guilds. And myself, Angharad Lloyd Bainan, I'm the Business Development Manager for City and Guilds for Wales. Nawr, fe gen i Paul sydyn i wybod am eich dealltwriaeth chi am y cymwysterau newydd yma, gan feddwl am Galwedigaethau Pren yn benodol. Now we will have a quick pause to get your understanding of the new qualifications, thinking specifically about wood occupations. Os gallwch chi roi eich ateb gyda 5 y rif ucha, os gwelwch yn dda. If you could put your answers with 5 being the highest number, please. So therefore, how would you rate your understanding of the foundation qualification, thinking specifically of wood occupations, from 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest, please? Felly, sut byddwch yn disgrifio eich dealltwriaeth o'r gymhwyster sylfaen, gan feddwl am Galwedigaethau Pren yn benodol. Felly, nodwch 1 rhif o 1 i 5, gyda 5 y rhif uchaf, os gwelwch yn dda. Newn ni roi ychydig o eiliadau i sicrhau bod pawb wedi cael cyfle i roi ateb. Just give a few more seconds to make sure everybody has a chance to answer. Diolch yn fawr iawn i chi, diddorol iawn. Felly gweld bod dealltwriaeth da ydych chi'n barod. Yn gobeithio erbyn diwedd y gwem yna bydd gwell dealltwriaeth ydych chi beth. Thank you very much. Nice to see that there's a high level of understanding there. Hopefully by the end of the webinar you'll have an even greater understanding again. Hoffwn nawr eich trosglwyddo i David Pye a fydd yn eich tywys trwy y sleidiau nesaf. Diolch. I would now like to pass you over to David Pye, who will take you through the next slide. Thank you, David.
Thank you very much, Anne-Harriet, and welcome everyone. I hope you're all safe and well. We're going to start by having a quick look at the sector review. I'm sure many of you are aware of the driver for change, but as a recap, or for those who are not aware, let's take a quick look at this slide. The 2018 review, named Building the Futures, set the framework for this change. The review concentrated on qualifications and their processes in the wider construction industry. The review included many discussions with various stakeholders, including employers. In brief, to meet the skills needs in Wales, the outcomes were as follows: reducing the number of qualifications, providing clear progression routes, and portability for the qualifications within Wales and beyond. Now let's have a look at some of the stakeholder engagement. Here we've provided a brief overview of the stakeholders that have helped develop and shape the content we have created. We have employers, including micro businesses, medium and large contractors, current practitioners across the sector. So you can see that these qualifications have been developed with your peers who have experience of delivering qualifications and the resources that are required. Now let's have a look at the foundation qualification. The foundation qualification that we are covering in this webinar is seen as the entry point for learners who wish to start their journey towards occupational competence in a construction or building services engineering trade. This diagram shows various learner journeys through the new suite of qualifications and how the foundation is the starting point. Learner A starts as a full-time learner on the foundation qualification and then, after the first year, secures employment and starts her apprenticeship level 3 qualification. Whereas learner B, here we can see they commence as a full-time learner on the foundation qualification and then, due to not being able to secure employment, return to continue a second year full-time progression qualification. And finally, learner C has been successful in gaining employment as an apprentice and will therefore work towards their core qualification, which is the mandatory foundation qualification units plus just one trade unit. and then continue their education as an apprentice. So just to explain that little part there, the core that apprentices will work on, the core qualification, mirrors the foundation qualification, but as we've said, is only one trade area. When running it as a foundation, it would be 2 trade areas. I hope that helps set the context for the foundation webinar. Please make use of the questions tab. I will try to type out replies to all questions as my colleague Ian presents. So at this point, I'd like to hand you back to Ian, who'll take you through the next section. Thank you.
Thank you, David and Harrod, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. As David says, we're now going to go through the foundation qualification, but on the content. The foundation qualification that we're going to cover is the entry point for learners who wish to start their journey towards occupational competence in a construction or building services engineering trade. The diagram shows what we talked about earlier, is the qualification handbook. It is always the starting point when considering the content and the understanding of the unit structure. The handbook is available from the Skills for Wales website, and the link is on the slide. When you look at the handbook, you will see the 6 core units, which are units 101 to 106, and are assessed via an on-screen exam, and a range of trade-specific units to achieve the foundation in construction and building services level 2,